Have you ever wondered why certain pains in your body seem to have no clear cause? Why some aches persist no matter how much you stretch, rest, or treat them? Could it be that your body is carrying stories, emotions, and karmic lessons far deeper than you realize? Take a moment and ask yourself, is my body trying to tell me something I have not yet heard? Welcome to Stillness Unfolded, where we explore the hidden truths that live quietly beneath the surface of everyday life. In today's video, we are going to take a profound journey inward, into the sacred language of the body, and how each physical symptom may be a mirror reflecting the deeper movements of your karma. Together, we'll uncover why pain, tension, and chronic symptoms are not random enemies to be fought, but sacred teachers inviting you to awaken. We will walk through how different parts of the body, your back, your hands, your throat, your eyes, your very breath, hold messages waiting patiently for your attention. This is not just another talk about healing. This is an invitation to see your body, and your life, with new eyes. So if you're ready, I invite you to stay with me through the entire video, because every part of today's exploration connects to the next. Only by walking the full path can you fully understand the beautiful, hidden map your body has been carrying all along. Before we dive in, if you find value in this journey, I would be truly grateful if you could give this video a like, subscribe to Stillness Unfolded, and leave a comment below sharing your reflections. Your support not only helps the channel grow, but allows us to continue unfolding deeper truths together. Now, let's begin this journey into the living wisdom of your body. When most people think of karma, they imagine it floating somewhere beyond reach, woven into the stars, hidden in unseen dimensions, awaiting some distant reckoning. But the truth is simpler, and far more intimate. Karma lives in the body. Your body is not merely flesh and bone. It is a living scripture, a sacred map, unfolding day by day, breath by breath. A breathing testament to every choice you have made, every thought you have entertained, every act of resistance, and every act of surrender. Look closely. The way your shoulders unconsciously hunch under the invisible weight of burdens you have long since forgotten. The tightness that coils in your chest whenever old grief is stirred by memory or loss. The subtle ache in your knees when life calls you to take a leap of faith, and fear whispers for you to stay. These are not random occurrences. They are the fingerprints of karma, pressed gently but insistently into the very fibers of your being. In the ancient teachings, karma is not merely an abstract ledger kept somewhere in the cosmos. It is a living vibration that settles into posture, echoes through the breath, ripples in the beating of your heart. It imprints itself in sensation, in tension, in stillness, carrying the stories your mind may have long suppressed. Each sensation you experience carries a forgotten memory. Desires that were chased without peace. Fears that were fed and never confronted. Forgiveness that was withheld until bitterness bloomed. Love that was abandoned before it had the chance to root deeply. And so, your body is not a prison, nor a battlefield. It is a parchment, soft, patient, enduring, where your soul's journey writes itself not in words, but in pulses, aches, releases, and longings. The next time you feel a stiffness, an ache, a discomfort, pause. Do not rush to fix it. Instead, lean in. Ask, what forgotten story is my body asking me to remember? Ask, when was the last time I truly listened to my body, not as a machine to be repaired, but as a sacred messenger to be honored? Because if you dare to listen deeply, you may discover that your body has been speaking to you all along. Not to punish you, but to guide you home. There is a weight we carry that no one else can see. It does not press down on the shoulders like a visible burden, nor does it shout its presence through obvious suffering. Instead, it settles quietly into the lower back, silent, stubborn, waiting. In the wisdom of the body, the lower back is more than a cluster of muscles and bones. It is a shelf for unseen loads, the responsibilities we assumed without question, the silent debts we felt obligated to repay, the emotional contracts signed long ago in moments of fear, loyalty, or guilt. Every time we said yes when our soul whispered no, another stone was added to this invisible pack we carry. And so, when pain arises here, not from injury or accident, but from somewhere deeper. It is not merely mechanical. It is a call to notice what we have chosen to carry, and what perhaps was never ours to bear. It is the body's quiet plea, lay it down. We often learn from an early age that to love is to sacrifice, that to be worthy is to bear more than our share. Out of fear of disappointing others, out of longing to belong, we pile up these burdens without noticing how heavy they have become. We wear our silent suffering like a badge of honor, until one day, the body can no longer hold it without protest. In Zen, strength is not measured by how much weight you can carry, but by how gracefully you can set it down. Healing the lower back is not about stretching farther or strengthening harder, it is about surrender. It is about listening to the ancient ache that says, "You have been loyal enough. You have carried enough. It is time to return to yourself." Imagine, even now, letting your breath soften the armor around your spine. Imagine feeling the burdens you took on, not with shame, but with compassion, and gently releasing them back to the earth. The ground has always been strong enough to hold what you no longer need to bear alone. Ask yourself, whose burdens am I still carrying within me? What would it feel like to walk through life with only my own soul in my hands? Because true liberation is not in bearing more. It is in finally remembering what is truly yours, and what was never yours to hold. The hands are remarkable instruments. They build, they comfort, they create, they connect. Yet they also cling. They tighten into fists when fear whispers that what we love might slip away. They grasp desperately when we believe that only through force can we hold on to certainty, affection, or control. In the deeper language of the body, pain or stiffness in the hands often speaks of more than physical strain. It reveals a karmic pattern of holding on too tightly, to outcomes, to identities, to relationships, to versions of life we are too afraid to let go of. The hands remember every time we grasped at something from fear instead of love, every time we tightened our grip when life asked us to trust its unfolding. Control feels safer than surrender. It promises the illusion of security. But it comes at a cost. The more we clench, the more we block the natural flow of energy meant to pass through us. Love becomes possession. Dreams become demands. The self becomes a fortress rather than a garden. The body, in its quiet wisdom, mirrors this internal state. Tension gathers in the fingers, stiffness invades the joints, not as punishment, but as a gentle nudge. You were never meant to hold the river. You were meant to float with it. In Zen, true power is not in the strength of our grasp, but in the grace of our letting go. To open the hands, to truly open them, is an act of profound faith. Faith that what is meant for us will remain, and what must leave will do so to make space for deeper truth. Imagine, even now, unclenching your hands, not just physically, but spiritually. Imagine releasing the old stories, the old attachments, the need to control every outcome. What remains in your open palms is not emptiness, but freedom. Ask yourself, what am I still trying to control that was never mine to command? What miracles might enter my life if I made room by letting go? Because the more lightly we hold life, the more deeply it can bless us. There is a silence that does not soothe but suffocates. It curls itself around the throat, not as illness, but as a memory of all the truths left unspoken, all the forgiveness withheld, all the songs of the heart swallowed before they could find the light of day. In the sacred cartography of the body, the throat is more than a passage for air and words. It is the bridge between the inner world and the outer one, the gate through which authenticity seeks to flow. When the throat tightens, when speaking feels strained or choked, it is often the body's way of revealing that a deeper voice has been ignored for too long. Each unspoken truth leaves an imprint. Each time we silenced our needs to keep peace, each time we swallowed our pain because we feared rejection, a layer of tension wrapped itself around this sacred channel. Over time, the voice forgets how to emerge freely, and the soul feels the quiet sorrow of self-betrayal. Healing the throat is not simply about forcing words out. It is about creating a safe inner space where truth is no longer a threat. It is about allowing vulnerability to become a strength, not a weakness. It is about whispering first if shouting feels impossible, about speaking first to ourselves if speaking to others feels too frightening. Zen teaches that the words left unspoken often weigh heavier than the burdens we speak aloud. To heal is to open the throat not through force, but through forgiveness, first of ourselves for the times we abandoned our own voice, and then of others who once taught us to fear it. Imagine sitting quietly, feeling the weight at your throat, and breathing love into it. Imagine allowing a single truth, however small, to rise like a prayer, unshackled by fear. Ask yourself, what truths have I imprisoned within the silence of my own heart? What freedom might I find if I trusted my voice to carry my soul's honesty into the world? Because when the voice returns, it does not just speak, it sings the song the soul was born to share. The eyes are not only the windows through which we view the outer world, they are mirrors reflecting the landscapes of our inner world. They reveal what we dare to see, and what we are still too afraid to face. When the vision blurs, when focus becomes elusive not because of age or strain but for reasons the mind cannot name, it is often the soul's gentle whisper that we have turned away from our own truth. Not all blindness is physical. Much of it is a silent pact we make with ourselves, to look away from the realities we find too painful, too complicated, too demanding of change. Sometimes, we choose the comfort of illusions over the sharp clarity of truth. We tell ourselves stories that soften the hard edges of reality, even when the heart knows better. We cling to false hopes, to distorted dreams, to images of ourselves or others that no longer match the deeper knowing within. But the body remembers what the mind tries to forget. And the eyes, delicate as they are, cannot lie forever. In Buddhist insight, real vision arises not when we perfect our external sight, but when we cleanse the inner mirror, when we dare to witness life, and ourselves, as they are, without the need to mask, justify, or deny. Healing the eyes is not about sharpening the image outside. It is about softening the gaze within. It is about surrendering the illusions we have built to survive and choosing, instead, to live aligned with what is raw, real, and luminous. Imagine gazing inward, not to judge, but to simply see, with tenderness, with honesty, with grace. Ask yourself, what illusions have I clung to out of fear of facing the truth? What new vision might emerge if I allowed myself to see with the eyes of the soul, not the fears of the mind? Because the clearest sight is not found in the eyes alone, but in the courage to see from the heart. The feet are the silent pilgrims of our journey, carrying us through seasons of change, across landscapes of both joy and sorrow. They are the first to meet the earth with trust, and the first to hesitate when fear plants its heavy roots. When the feet grow weary without clear cause, when movement feels heavier than the body can explain, it is often the soul signaling its reluctance to step into the unknown. Fear of failure, fear of change, fear of losing the familiar, all settle quietly into the muscles and bones that once moved with innocence and grace. Every path not taken, every decision delayed by doubt, every moment of hesitation leaves a trace not only in the mind, but in the body itself. And so the feet, once eager to explore, begin to falter under the invisible weight of dreams deferred and roads abandoned. In Zen teachings, the act of walking is a meditation. Each step, a vow to move forward even without certainty. True spiritual movement is not about knowing every turn of the road, it is about surrendering to the next step with trust, with humility, with presence. Healing the feet is healing the relationship with life's unfolding. It is reclaiming the courage to move forward, not with blind ambition, but with a deep, quiet faith that wherever the soul is called, the ground will rise to meet it. Imagine, even now, taking one gentle step, not because you have mapped the entire journey, but because your heart whispers it is time to move. Ask yourself, what new path have I been too afraid to walk? What part of my soul is still waiting for me to trust the journey more than my fear? Because sometimes, the first step forward is not taken by the body, but by the spirit remembering how to trust. The body begins by whispering. A gentle stiffness here, a flutter of fatigue there, a slight discomfort that passes as quickly as it comes. At first, the signals are soft, almost easy to ignore. Life continues, hurried and distracted, and we promise ourselves we will pay attention later. But karma is patient and persistent. When its lessons are deferred, when its invitations to awareness go unanswered, the body speaks louder. The whispers become aches. The passing discomforts become persistent symptoms. What was once a fleeting sensation becomes a constant companion, asking, pleading, insisting that we turn inward and listen. Chronic symptoms are not simply the failures of biology, they are the echoes of spiritual messages left unread. They are the body's way of saying, you have carried this sorrow too long. You have swallowed this truth for too many seasons. You have walked away from your own heart, and now it calls you back. In Buddhist thought, karma does not punish, it teaches. And when gentle teachings are ignored, life loves us enough to make the lessons impossible to overlook. Not because the universe is cruel, but because it is determined to bring us home to ourselves. Pain that persists without clear cause often reveals a karmic not yet to be untangled, a grief not grieved, a guilt not forgiven, a resentment still clutching at the edges of the soul. Healing chronic pain, then, is not only a matter of treating the body, it is a sacred dialogue between body and spirit, a surrender to the deep questions pain is asking us to face. Imagine, even now, sitting quietly with whatever symptom has stayed too long. Not fighting it. Not fleeing it. Simply asking, with humility, with tenderness. What are you trying to teach me? What am I finally ready to release? Ask yourself. What patterns of suffering have I been living with, mistaking them for part of who I am? If I dared to listen, what old pain might finally be ready to set me free? Because sometimes, the ache that refuses to leave is not there to hurt you. It is there to awaken you. Healing is often misunderstood. In the urgency of pain, we long for it to disappear, for the wound to vanish without a trace, for the past to be rewritten as if it had never happened. But karma does not work by erasure. It works by fulfillment. True healing is not the denial of what has been, but the profound honoring of it. It is the quiet bow before every scar, every ache, every tender place that still remembers where the soul once broke open. It is the slow weaving of those broken strands into something new, something wiser, more luminous, more whole. The body, too, carries this wisdom. Sometimes it does not fully return to a pristine state. Sometimes symptoms linger, traces remain. But when healing has truly occurred, suffering no longer rules the soul. Pain may still echo across the chambers of the body, but it no longer defines the vastness of who we are. In the teachings of Zen, liberation is not found in escaping suffering, it is found in awakening through it. Just as the lotus blooms from the depths of muddy water, our spiritual unfolding often emerges most brightly from the places where we once hurt the most. Healing asks of us not resistance, but acceptance. Not forgetting, but forgiveness. Not perfection, but presence. It asks us to sit with the memories that ache and to bless them for the strength they called forth from within us. It asks us to hold our scars the way one holds ancient scriptures, sacred, tender, full of meaning. Imagine, for a moment, looking at every wound you carry, not with bitterness, but with reverence. Imagine seeing every trial not as a curse, but as an initiation into deeper wisdom and compassion. Ask yourself, what if healing is not about becoming someone else, but about finally loving the one who lived through it all? What parts of my story have been waiting not to be erased, but to be embraced? Because fulfillment does not mean forgetting. It means finding grace within the very experiences that once seemed too heavy to bear. Long before wisdom was carved into sacred texts or chanted in monasteries, it was already alive within the body. The body is not separate from the spiritual path. It is the first temple, the original scripture written not in ink, but in sensation, breath, and movement. Every ache, every moment of fatigue, every pulse of vitality or pain is a teaching. The body mirrors the inner tides of the soul more honestly than the mind ever could. It does not hide behind pride or fear. It simply reflects, patiently and without judgment, the truths we are ready, or reluctant, to face. When the body tightens, it asks us to notice where we are clinging. When the body aches, it invites us to see where we are resisting life's natural flow. When the body softens, it shows us the grace of surrender. Zen reminds us that enlightenment is not found by transcending the body, but by awakening fully within it. Every breath, every step, every heartbeat is a call to presence, a reminder that the sacred is never somewhere else, it is here, living through us. Imagine treating your body not as a machine to be fixed, but as a master to be listened to with reverence. Imagine honoring even your pain as a messenger carrying seeds of wisdom. Ask yourself, what lessons has my body been offering me all along, waiting for me to truly hear? If I trusted my body as my first and greatest teacher, how might my entire life begin to change? Because awakening is not a journey away from the body. It is a homecoming through it. Every breath you take, every ache you feel, every sensation you experience. They are not meaningless. They are messages. They are the living poetry of your soul speaking through your body. Today, we walk together through the landscapes of the lower back, the hands, the throat, the eyes, the feet, each a sacred chapter in the book of your karma. We explored how chronic symptoms are not punishments, but invitations, how healing is not about erasing the past, but about fulfilling the lessons it offered. Now, I invite you to pause and listen. What is your body whispering to you even now, as you sit here? What old story is ready to be released? What new beginning is waiting for you to embrace it with open hands, an open heart, and an open spirit? If this journey resonated with you, I warmly invite you again to like this video, subscribe to Stillness Unfolded, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters. Your reflections create ripples that uplift not just this community, but the quiet evolution of souls around you. And remember, today's video contains many layers of insight. If you feel called, you might even revisit it, because each time you listen with new ears, new truths unfold. Thank you for allowing me to walk this sacred path with you. Until we meet again, stay gentle with your body, stay present with your breath, and above all, trust the quiet unfolding of your own stillness.